When it comes to crankbaits that consistently catch bass, few lures have the history and reputation of the Rapala Shad Rap SR-5. Just 2 inches long and weighing 3/16 of an ounce, this lure may look small, but it has a big impact on the water. Its buoyant balsa wood body and tight natural wobble perfectly mimic the small baitfish that bass feed on every single day. And in Rapala's tradition of hand tuning and tank testing every lure, and you've got a crankbait that's ready to fish right out of the box. If you want to catch more bass with the SR5, there are a few things to keep in mind. The first key is understanding the lure's depth range. The Shad Rap SR5 runs between 4 and 9 feet, depending upon your line choice and retrieve speed. That puts it right in the mid-depth strike zone where bass love to hunt, especially along weed edges, rocky shorelines, and shallow drop-offs. By keeping the lure working in this depth range, you're putting it directly where the fish are most likely to be. Line choice plays a big role in how well this lure performs. Light monofilament or fluorocarbon in the 6 to 8 pound range allows the bait to dive deeper and keeps its wobble natural. Heavier line will restrict the action and keep the lure shallower. For most bass fishing situations, a medium light spinning setup spooled with lighter line gives you the casting distance and sensitivity you need to work the Shad Rap effectively. Once you're set up, the next step is dialing in your retrieve. The SR5 shines with a simple, steady crank that highlights its tight wobble. But bass don't always want the same thing, so experiment with your speed. A slow, steady retrieve can tempt lethargic bass, especially in colder water. A faster crank makes the lure panicked and often draws reaction strikes from aggressive fish. Adding occasional pauses takes the presentation up to another level. When you stop reeling, the SR5 floats slightly upward before diving again when you resume. That pause and rise motion is often what convinces a following bass to finally commit. Color choice is another important factor when fishing for bass. In clear water, stick with natural patterns like silver, shad, or bluegill, which look just like the real thing. In stained or murky water, brighter finishes such as fire tiger, like this one, or hot steel, stand out and give bass an easy target. Matching the color of your Shad Rap to water clarity and light conditions can make the difference between a slow day and steady action. When it comes to where to fish, the SR5 is at its best along structure. Cast it parallel to weed lines, across rocky banks, or near submerged timber. Because it's fitted with treble hooks, it's best not to get too close or deeper and heavier cover, but it excels when fished just along the edges. That's where bass often sit, waiting to ambush prey that swims by. The Shad Rap looks like an easy meal slipping past, and that's exactly the kind of opportunity that bass rarely pass up. Timing also matters when you're chasing bass. The SR5 is particularly effective in the spring and fall when bass are feeding aggressively in mid-depth ranges. Early morning and late evening are prime times to throw at it, as bass tend to move shallower to hunt baitfish at those times. Overcast skies or slightly windy conditions can also improve your odds, since bass feel more comfortable roaming out from cover under lower light. Finally, remember that confidence and persistence are key. The Shad Rap SR5 isn't always about instant results. Its strength is consistency, cast after cast, retrieve after retrieve. It puts a natural presentation in front of bass that eventually leads to bites. By trusting the lure's action, paying attention to your depth, and adapting your speed and color choices, you'll quickly see why anglers have relied on this crankbait for decades. The Rapala Shad Rap SR5 2-inch 3/16 of an ounce is more than just another lure. It's a proven fish catching tool that deserves a permanent spot in your tackle box. When fished correctly, it's one of the most reliable ways to catch bass season after season. Take care, my friends.